What I remember about
SIG P320.
the rise of the Empire is how quiet it was. During the waning hours of the Clone Wars, the
Military Arms Channel and Goobers Group.
501st Legion was discreetly transferred back to
SIG Sauer Headquarters, New Hampshire.
Coruscant. It was a silent trip. We all knew what was about to happen, what we're about to do. Did we have any doubts? Any private, traitorous thoughts? Perhaps, but no one said a word. Not on the flight to
SIG Sauer Headquarters, New Hampshire.
Coruscant. Not when Order 66 came down, and not when we marched into the Jedi Temple. Not a word.
Fucking test me, motherfucker! You know the fuck I am from fucking Jersey! You wanna fuck with me? Put your fucking head off your shoulders. You know the fuck I am, motherfucker, test me.
Here.
How much is that? I like it, I like it, I like it, I like it. How much?
Look, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
We can't act like this at the gun counter.
And we are
try to
live. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Trench Grenade channel, the very high-speed Trench Grenade channel. We are live with none other than Bones Maloney. And remember, if you've ever cheated on your spouse and claimed to have good dad advice, well, then go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Bones, what's up, my dude?
Not much, King. Just getting off work, finished the grind on a Saturday afternoon, and ready to be hanging out, spreading the gospel of chess rig supremacy.
Right, and that will be the discussion today, or I don't know what time it is for obviously everyone in the audience, but the discussion today is going to be chest rig versus body armor, when to use body armor, when to use a chest rig, and whatever, right? And this kind of came up as a discussion that Nighthawk and I had on the drive home yesterday from vacation, and that is, okay, well, which one is actually more applicable, right, for WROL? So I'll kind of open it up to you to kind of give your opening thoughts on, not really the issue, but I guess the great debate.
All right, so I think, like a lot of people out there, I started my tactical journey with the idea that I was going to have a body armor, like a plate carrier with all my shit on it, and it was going to be my everything plate carrier. I was going to be doing everything in it. It was going to be all my sustainment, my magazines, everything, and that was just going to be, I would live in it anytime I did anything tactical. And oh boy, I think there's a crash up here. But so that's my mindset I started with. And as time went on and I learned stuff and things and actually got out there and trained, both military and civilian too, I realized that is not the case. And I think some people learn that too. Some people don't understand the concept of when body armor makes sense and when it doesn't. And I think people on both sides of the fence probably huff the copium a little more than they need to, because they both have use cases and times in which you would want one over the other.
So, and as far as the audience, right? Because a lot of guys, there's going to be a very large, I call them Minutemen, right? Because I feel like civilian, as both of us being military, it really doesn't matter. Because I feel like the words, oh, we just a civilian, right? Like dirty civilian or whatever, right? Obviously, shout out to dirty civilian, I guess. But a lot of guys have a negative connotation. When they actually just released I just watched like the first 4 minutes of it, like a short film. So I guess shout out to dirty civilian, right? But the title civilian always has a negative connotation, right, in the gun world. But a lot of guys, I notice, when they go out and train, they don't train in their kit because they don't want to be. I think it's because they don't want to feel awkward or whatever at the range, right? But then they say they go online and they go in the comment section. They say, "Oh well, I'm definitely always going to wear kit. I'm definitely always going to wear my, plates, and you're stupid not to wear plates." And I think a lot of that is misguided, right? Because if you look at the airborne community specifically, or even mechanized, right? The only time guys are wearing body armor is if the movement is two clicks or less. Anything really over 2 or 3 clicks, dudes are not wearing body armor.
Yeah, I could definitely speak to that, and that yeah, like body armor, it has its time and its place, and people who say, I'm gonna always be living in my body armor, you always wear it, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I get it, man, but realistically, that's just not how it's gonna work. And if we're gonna talk, well, let's we'll narrow it down and say we're gonna talk a Minuteman style, prepared citizen, maneuver centric fighting force. Um, Body armor is really going to limit your ability to maneuver and to do things. And I mean, even recently I did some training with JTAX and Ranger Bat guys, and they were like, if we're patrolling, yeah, if it's less than, like you said, right about 2K, they're like, we are not wearing plates. He's like, fuck no. We're going to wear chest rigs, maybe a helmet, and we're going to throw whatever we need in our assault pack. And it's just once you start actually wearing body armor and realizing what it's for, you realize that it sucks to wear and it sucks to maneuver in, and you really don't want to have it on unless you absolutely need it and you're in an environment in which you need that extra protection.
Right. And I would say the vast majority of my career has been spent wearing exactly what you just described: a helmet, a
Yeah.
flick, and an assault pack. Like the vast majority of my
Mhm.
career, or a helmet, a flick, and a rucksack. And I think the internet, because of the glorification of tier one dudes, because of the all hail tier one, all hail Navy SEALs, Goober Scoop
Yeah.
is amazing, DJ Shipley's the best. Hopefully they don't still think
Mhm.
that now, right? But because of that thought process, dudes think I need the slickest AVS or JPC because Garantham has it, and that's what I'm going to be using. And it's like, no, the vast majority of the time, body armor only gets donned for things like a raid or a trench assault, right, or a
Mhm.
movement to contact, or like if you look at Iraq and Afghanistan, these dudes were doing movement to contacts or presence patrols and coming back to the fob, coming back to the cob, and in that scenario, yeah, of course you're always going to wear body armor, but in the opening days of the Ukraine war, I guarantee you there was a lot of units not rocking body armor that were moving, miles and miles every day. And I guess that kind of
Yes.
opens up the discussion of like, why why is there such a debate on the internet? Do you think it's purely consumerism, or do you think it's from a different place?
So I went through this same thing with a buddy of mine, where we both grew up at we're the same age, very similar interests. He unfortunately wasn't able to get into the military due to some medical issues, unfortunately, right? I mean, not saying that the experience for the military is the be all end all, but very similar upbringings and such. And he recently wanted to he's like, I want to get more serious about training. I want to get more into this like preparedness stuff. And I was like, okay, awesome. Yeah, like I'm about it. I want to be here to help guide you. And he comes back to me because he wants to get into it, right? He's got a rifle. He's got a little more stuff on it than he needs to. But he's going through it. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna get this body armor. I'm gonna get all this stuff to hang off this body armor that I don't really know what half of it does. And he's in no fault of his own necessarily. He's just ignorant, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I just mean that he's inexperienced. He's just
He lacks
mimicking
the
what he sees.
pedigree. You got to give him some
Yeah, no
pedigree.
pedigree, zero
Zero
pedigree.
pedigree.
But he's mimicking and he's going off of what he knows and what he sees, which is video games, and movies, and what the like maybe some limited like TV exposure and stuff like that. But since that has been kind of, I guess, romanticized and shown so much, three mags, SWAT style, tier one operators, CQB stuff, that's what everybody gravitates towards because it's cool and that's what they see. And I talked to him, I'm like, so he shows me the shopping list. It's got, fucking these heavy ass plates. He's got a super expensive plate carrier, all these pouches, and it's like $4,000 in gear. And I was like, man, like, I admire the wanting to get into it. Oh, my camera. But what do you expect to be doing? Because this setup you're putting together is extremely specific to like raids, CQB, and like SWAT type shit. And I'm like, there's so much more to the preparedness mindset and being like an effective rifleman and fighting force than just those three very niche things. Um, and not to bash him too much. I'm not gonna call him out or anything, but he started huffing the copium, and he's like, well, I want body armor, right? And home defense this, and I'm like, well, I mean, just pick your LARP then. If you want to be home defense guy and say you're gonna hunker down with steel plates and like whatever, man, that's fine. It's a different story. But if you want to be a well-rounded, prepared citizen, then thinking that you'll live in your 15-pound plate carrier with everything on it is a little bit delusional.
Right, and I think obviously it spurs from video games and it spurs from the hype on the internet and everything. But I really don't think people understand because they haven't. The first thing to go, and I'll just kind of give a frame of some pedigrees, a frame of reference here. The first thing to go is the body armor. In a lot of these operations, specifically airborne operations, hey, if we're jumping in and you got a 45-pound ruck or a 60-pound ruck, and then you got your rifle, your helmet, your night vision, that sustainment, that stuff adds up. And what guys, I think they lose the forest for the trees, and they think, okay, if Doomsday starts tomorrow, I'm throwing on my plates. It's like, dude, that's 15 to 20 pounds of weight that you have to pull that from other places, right? You can't just say, well, I'm going to wear body armor and have my cake and eat it too. I'm going to wear body armor, but I'm still going to have, 3 liters of water, 5 field stripped MREs, my sleep system, extra batteries. It's like, dude, you clearly have never spent a week or two minimum, you know what I mean, in the woods,
Yeah.
in your gear, chafing, right? And there's all kinds of channels. I'll try not to name names out here, and they're doing like my 2025 everyday or kit setup, and it's like
Yeah, loadout. Yeah.
and I'll actually grab my one of my sets of body armor right here, and they'll be like, yep. So I have you probably can't see it obviously, but they'll be like, yeah. So I have my plate carrier, and they'll go through it like autistically. You know what I mean? Like line by line, mag or accessory by accessory of how their kit's set up, and it's like, okay, clearly there's some sponsorship. Right? There's some sponsorship happening. Clearly, they're advertising, and obviously, they're doing things that are maybe, more secret squirrel or more tier 1 oriented or whatever, or they're just lying, like straight up. Because when you go to a course, or if you go to a shooting school or whatever, guess what? It's the conversation is not, oh hey Bones, do we get to wear body armor today? The conversation is, we have to wear plates. Do we really have to wear plates, Sergeant? You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, it's on the packing list. We have to wear it. And it's like, I'm sure the chat is gonna be like, oh well, you're just weak and soft and you can't carry weight. It's like, no, it sucks wearing body armor all day long on the flat range or training.
I mean, it goes back to like, if you can make, there's a lot of arguments there, but for one, you could make, this is fresh in my mind, at the gym, be strong. Yes, sure, right? You should be physically fit. However, we did the thing. Look at what the troops said during World War II about the M1 carbine. They love that little rifle. It's lighter. It's less powerful, sure, but it's lighter, and they could huff it around and not be as fatigued compared to the M1 Grant. And it's a similar use case with body armor, where the thing that's going to win you a fight or keep you alive in a traditional fighting sense is going to be your ability to maneuver. It's going to be your ability to move yourself out of the enemy's line of fire and into an advantageous position to which you can exploit your advantage you have and neutralize the enemy and give smack the HOA goons or whatever. That's what's going to keep you alive. That and your ability to do that. When you throw body armor on, yes, you do get the added advantage of now you have ballistic protection. But like you said, it sucks to wear body armor for any length of time. It makes your body work a lot harder. It pulls so much more water out of you. You burn a lot more calories. And that's why in an environment in which, you're going to tell me, hey, I got to go kick down a door and shoot bad guys. Yeah, I'm going to want body armor, right? Because that's probably not going to take a long time. And the maneuver element isn't really there anymore. But the second you do almost anything else, body armor sucks to wear, and it's not fun. And another thing people don't really think about, I'll touch on quickly, is if you're wearing body armor, you are not going to be throwing on a rug. And if you are, it's going to be one of the worst experiences you will ever have. Your ability to carry stuff goes down tremendously when you throw on body armor. I'd say an assault pack with like 15 to 35 pounds tops. Throwing a ruck on with the body armor, it's just your body isn't designed for it, for one, and it's just so fatiguing that you're just doing it wrong. You're not getting any good benefit out of your armor with having a ruck on too, and you're just destroying yourself.
Right, and we could even dig deeper into that, because a lot of guys aren't even wearing level 4. What the guys in chat right now are seeing is just some random like levels of body armor, so chat can see it, you can't. But like level 4, okay, you got 30.6 AP. A lot of guys aren't even wearing level 4. A lot of guys are wearing what's called a special threat plate. Are you familiar with that?
Like a 3+, right? Roll stuff like 308 FMJ and stuff, yeah.
A lot of guys are wearing a level 3+, or even just a special threat plate. And on these special threat plates, what happens a lot, and I guess we'll just pick on the company, not to pick on them because they make good stuff, but like the Hesco L210s, right? The Hesco L210s are specifically not NIJ rated. So I want you to think of like the legal part, right? If you look at like the legal implications of that, if you go out and you get smoked by, and, you know, in a rule of law time, and you're wearing non-rated plates, well, if, you know, your family or whoever that inevitably will end up suing that that company, they're obviously the first thing they're going to say is what? It's not rated for that. And if we look at any sort of modern, because guys in the chat are going to say this too, right, when they watch this, hey, oh, well, you know, I'd rather have it, not need it, need it, not have it. Do you know how many dudes are only getting shot one time? Go look at any of this footage in Ukraine. How many times are these dudes getting shot? You know what I'm saying? It's several. And I know that's not necessarily the end-all be-all argument for it, but if you really think about it, if you're on the modern battlefield in 2025, you're going to soak up like 8 rounds, dude, in a very rapid amount of time. And the area that your body armor protects is a very, very small vital area, but that's if you're directly, I should have put my body armor for this chat, and we just got a random super chat we'll have to read in a second, but thank you for whoever super chatted. But your body armor is only protecting a very, very small portion of your body anyway. And if you're even just slightly askew to the enemy combatant, dude, you're going to get lit up. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where, you know what? You know who did a good video on this before he kind of went down the shill rabbit hole? Military Arms Channel actually had a very based video talking about, okay, you're only covering your heart and lungs with a front and back plate. If I were to shoot the camera right now, there's a very good chance that I'm going to catch that round in the front plate or whatever, right? But here's the deal. The enemy is not always going to be directly on, and a lot of guys are not even wearing side plates. So then you start to get down the rabbit hole of like, okay, so you're wearing front and back plates, you're wearing a helmet, but you're not wearing side plates, and you know, the pros and cons for me, like, the pros and cons just, it doesn't add up, you know what I'm saying? Especially nowadays. And what I'll show chat right now is this kit right here that I'm about to show them. This is what I wear the vast majority of the time. It's just the T-Rex Arms chest rig, right? The 4 mag with a, hydro pouch or whatever they call it, and an admin pouch. That I wear that for work. Like, if you look at a normal cycle of candidates that come through, I think we're in the field from weeks 4 and on. Weeks 3 and on or 4 and on. And, dude, the 2 rigs that I'm showing them on my really high-speed camera right now, those are what I use for work, and that's what I live in, and I have no issues living in it. But if we were to up the ante and be like, all training must be conducted in the heat in full body armor, then that's where those issues are going to arise from. You're going to have hot weather injuries. You're going to have a whole number of different issues, and the the juice is just not worth the squeeze, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'll agree on a lot of that. So to unpack a lot of what you said, briefly we'll touch on that the legal aspect. Yeah, I would say that that's definitely a consideration to think about, and something for that mindset and that what I call is the LARP you prepare for. That's a good point. And I'll say, everybody's Met TC is going to be different, and everybody's LARP that they're going to prepare for is.
Met TC
am
is
I still here?
Yep, Met TC is entered the
we
chat.
said it.
There it is, real quick.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's see. Bentley says offering to the ammo gods for burn downs. Hey, thanks, brother. Thanks for the super chat, my man. But go on. Sorry to interrupt you there.
Super based of him. Very, very kind of
Very
him.
based. Mega based.
Very based. Super based. So again, everybody, like whatever people are gonna prepare for, whatever they want, to do their preparedness and their LARP for and their training for and their kit, they're gonna have their own justifications, and that's fine. Every situation is gonna be different. And I would say if we're gonna we should try to focus on one use case or a group of use cases, and that'd be like the preparedness, the Minuteman type deal. And the idea or the special threat plates are.
That's what they're looking at right now, by the way. That's what they got pulled up on their screens right now. I have the HESCO L211 special threat standalone plate. Its weight is 4.9 pounds, just so you're tracking what they're seeing.
Gotcha. So about 5. Well, let's say 5 pounds, right? That's about 2 pounds less.
Right.
Than
So you're looking at 10
a
pounds,
SAPI, depending on the size.
Right. So you're looking at 12 to 13 pounds total to wear these. Right.
Yeah. So I would say I would rather. So it's still going to be hard plates. Yes, it will be a bit lighter, but it's still falling under the category of a set of body armor that's going to be heavy, and it's going to be hard to hang a lot off of, and hard to hang a lot off of the back of. And I would rather just commit to getting level 4 plates than to get a half step where, you could in theory wear it a little bit longer and not be as fatigued, but again, you're still going to run into the issues of not being able to carry, a ruck or a sizable pack, not being able to throw a lot on the front of it. And yeah, you can, not throwing shade, but you can huff that copium, and sure, you could try to say it's not as bad with lighter plates, but you're kind of splitting hairs and half stepping at that point between committing to like as much protection as you can get and just getting just wearing a plate or wearing the chest rig and having all the sustainment and being more maneuverable. So I think, like you said, the juice isn't worth the squeeze, where you're sacrificing kind of a big portion of having as much protection as possible and only getting a little bit of the maneuverability and reduction of fatigue. I'm not saying that there isn't a use case, right? Like if you're saying, I'm only worried about, potentially like short-term riots in my area. I want to be protected from, dickheads with fucking 10.5 ARs and 9mm pistols and them problem solvers. Then sure, man, like I get it. Everybody has their use case.
Right. And we got it pulled up here. We've just been going through we're on T-Rex's website right now. They obviously offer a bunch of good stuff. But for a special threat plate set, say that 10 times fast, special threat plate set, HESCO L2 211s, 544, right? For the 210s are 612 to 812. So what, and it's kind of a tricky territory we're getting in, because we don't want to tell people specifically like, hey, don't get armor at all, right? Because you still need armor. But for my audience, if you were to ask me, Trench, what armor and why, I don't recommend anyone, and I fall victim. I wish I had some plates sitting here. I used to, right here. Oh God, I always have this thing sitting here. I fell victim Two, I'm showing them a HESCO L210, right? I fell victim to the special threat plate because I thought at the time of buying them, oh, well, it's something, and then I don't have to wear my work body armor all the time, you know, for like LARPing or for protection, my level 4
Yeah.
sappies. So I'll have something a little bit lighter, if not the same, but thinner, you know what I mean, from HESCO.
Hmm.
But then, you know, with all the testing that's come out, these things, you drop them a couple times, specifically the L210s, you compromise a lot of integrity of the plate immediately, right? And
Gotcha.
ceramic,
Yeah.
ceramic plates are finicky. Like a lot, I would say a lot of the Army's plates are probably compromised. What are your thoughts on that? The
You're
Army,
supposed to, at least you're supposed to like get them. They do like some crazy inspection before you deploy,
Yep.
to make sure there's no cracks in them. So I'm sure that there's a lot that, at least especially CONUS side, guys' plates are compromised for sure, or have limited, you know, protection or weak spots in them, probably.
right. So when you deploy for chat, that a team, oh, I don't know the name, not Gentex, maybe it is. Whatever contractor
Maybe the helmets. I mean,
they come out and they inspect your plates, right? And they'll do an integrity scan of your plates. And oftentimes, this is exactly how it goes. You walk up to the table, you're in a big line, you hand them your 2 plates or your 4 plates, right? Your front, back, and side, and they look at it. They do one of these. Nope. They put them in. They throw it in a bin, and guess what? They give you a brand new set of plates, right? So that's
yeah,
what
they give
happens.
you new plates. Yeah.
Yeah. But guess what? Everyone watching this, guess what they don't have? They don't have the logistical support of having
Hmm.
the you know daddy United States government, United States Army to give them the that support. So what's going to
Hmm.
happen is they're going to be rocking that HESCO L210, HESCO 3612, whatever plate they decide to get here, and guess what? They drop that thing 4 or 5 times. They leave it in their car. It gets hot, then cold. Guess what? Now you compromise the integrity, and then there's going to be guys in the chat being like, "Well, it's just as good. It's better than nothing." Is it? Is it? Because there's never a 100% trade-off, right? It's always something you're compromising. Yeah, if you're in a
Hmm.
completely static position or you're doing a raid, you should still wear body armor. But if you're going to be patrolling, bro, like I'm telling you, especially for the Minuteman watching this, like have you like chat? Go ahead and chime in. We got about 80 dudes in here. Go ahead and chime in. Oh, I just gendered them. I misgendered them. 2025, we're
How
canceled.
dare you?
Chat, we are cooked. All right.
Big
Yep.
YouTube gender goons are coming for. Right?
We misgendered chat. Here we go. Chat. Comment right now. Have you ever accidentally left your plates in your car or dropped them? My dog is looking out the window, thus causing lighting issues on my camera. If you've ever left your plates in your car or dropped them on accident or whatever a few times. If you've done it more than 5 times, right? When I say drop them, I mean like what would you say, like 3 feet, 3 or 4 feet fall?
I would say 3 feet onto a hard surface, like 5 onto a soft surface.
Yeah, so how many of these guys, and I'm guilty of it, where they're going to grab their body armor, what do you do when you get to the truck after a long day of training? You get to the Bronco, guess
throw
what?
it in there.
You're throwing it in there, and guess what you hear? You hear that thud of the plates hit together, or like when dudes are doing pre-jump for an airborne operation, doing sustained airborne training, and they drop their helmet on the ground, and you hear like that plate hitting the ground noise. That over and over again compromises the ceramic and compromises those fibers in that plate, and thus causing it to not be effective anymore. I think we lost Bones. You're frozen. You still got us, Bones?
Oh, I'm still here. I can hear you.
He's back. He's alive. But
I'm
yeah,
back.
but yeah,
We're
chat.
back. The YouTube goons, we evaded them.
The PSA cold hasn't got us yet. But yeah, I mean,
Not yet.
let's see. Does drop in them
Well, I'll
count?
what's up?
Let's see. Jared says, does drop in them count if it was you who dropped you're wearing your plate, smashing them into the ground? Yeah, dude. Even if you're doing individual movement techniques, like if you do a ton of I'm up, he sees me, I'm down, 3 to 5 second rushes over time, right? Maybe not in a day, maybe not in a week, but after a few months of wearing those plates, hot weather, cold weather, repeated use, repeated wear, your plates, a lot of the guys watching these plates are definitely compromised. 100%.
Yeah, and I'll touch on that. Like the plates, they do have like the recommended time you replace them after about 5 years if you're actually using them. So it's just something you have to think about. And I want to bring it back if we can to like if somebody wants to, let's talk like the Minuteman and stuff, the preparedness and all that jazz, right? If somebody wants to get into that, or maybe they're starting to get into it, I would recommend they start with a chest rig or load bearing equipment and really learn how to run that and what it's like to sustain themselves far before they purchase body armor. You'll get a lot more capability and you'll learn a lot more with a chest rig with your sustainment and movement and being able to shoot and things like that than you will with body armor. And I think that's something we could touch on and talk about a bit is what how much more you could do with the chest rig and why to start with that over starting with a body armor or a plate carrier set or something like that.
Right. So, let's see here. So I want to tackle one thing. So a commenter
Go ahead.
says, wearing kit of the range makes you look like a douche. As someone who has seen someone doing it and performing badly made me have second thoughts. I disagree. What was that Medal of Honor dude? I don't remember his name off the top of my head.
Is it the dude who said that guys who train at the range in kit are gay or whatever?
Yeah,
They're posers.
Yeah, I think that is a horrible take. I think that's a horrible stigma. I like everyone watching this. If you have plates, train in it. Go to the range, train in it. If you have your helmet, like, dude, I mean, I have hundreds of videos on my channel of me at a range, at a bay, wearing my full kit with a balaclava on, full like LARP mode, right? What some would consider full LARP mode. But who cares? If you're in this chat right now, you're probably already the weird dude in your friend group, the gun guy. Who cares, right? Go out to the range.
Hell yeah.
And if fuzz at the range are gonna judge you for wearing your kit, dude, fuck them. That's what I say.
Honestly, let your autism reign true, and I'll agree with that. Like, absolutely that. If you who fucking cares what other people think, right? If they're gonna talk shit about you, that's fine. I will say, right, if you're gonna go train in kit, you should ideally to avoid some of the embarrassment and to kind of turn it over on some of these dudes who might be judging you, is know what you're doing. Train in it before you go to the range. Dry fire, reload drills, stuff like that. Go walk in the woods, take a hike in it if you're allowed to. Maybe not with your rifle, depending on where you live and stuff, of course. But be confident in your capabilities, right? Like, own it. Don't be shy and afraid of what you're doing and stuff. And have the experience. If somebody wants to be like, oh, look at this fag with all of his body armor. Well, not saying like show them up, right? But like be about that life and actually be learning and training in the kit and getting after it. And that will stop you from feeling so nervous about that type of stuff. And what will help a lot is building your kit and actually training in it and knowing it. That way, if you get this scrutiny or you get that judgment, you could be like, well, my shit is built for me and works, and like I'm confident in it and I know what it is. I think a lot of guys, they might buy this kit and then they go out to the range and they don't know what they're doing because they've never trained in it. They've got all this stuff all over them and they're uncomfortable and they realize that people see that and that fear comes from. So training your kit, just like take your time with it and get used to it and make it work for you. That way, when you go out, you're not looking like an ate-up bag of ass.
Yeah, and that, of course, always comes back to the training over gear mentality, right? Obviously, you still need gear, but training is always going to outweigh it, But if you don't have any gear, then obviously you can't train. So it's always that balance, that everyone's always trying to play the balancing act, But
Yeah.
let's frame it for the audience here, right? So this will help guys kind of help in their decision making content. I will say, if you got this far, if you're enjoying the live streams, make sure you go over and support Bones. He has a channel, Bones Maloney. Make sure you support his channel. He's making videos, gun content, and stuff over there. Make sure you like the live stream. That's all I ask. Like the video, and so I want to frame it for chat here and for anyone that watches this in the future. What would it take for you to choose body armor if doomsday happens tomorrow? We'll say several major cities have been nuked off the face of the earth, whatever adversary, you name it, China, Russia, doesn't matter, right? Several cities are nuked off the earth. You were unaffected, but now you have to go out into the wasteland, and there's roaming gangs, and because a lot of guys will be able to relate to this, you're by yourself. It's you or you and your spouse, and you're by yourself. Maybe you and one person, right? What would it take for you? Let's say in this scenario, you have to displace, you have to get off the X, out of your home. What would it take for you to decide to wear body armor over a chest rig?
I would say personally, so I'm going to base this off of where I live, or like it's similar to where I live, because I think your answer would vary depending on where you live. Like if I was in an inner city, or I lived in even just like a very large town, and vehicles were not really an option, and I needed to move a short distance, I'd probably want to wear body armor in the event I needed to displace a short distance in a relatively urban area. Because there's so many places I could possibly get shot from. So, the risk of encountering another person's very high. I'd probably want body armor in that situation. Most likely, maybe not like plates, but definitely some sort of protection, if not plates. But that's assuming I'm in a densely populated area and I don't need to move far. The second that changes, then I'm most likely going to forego armor. I'll probably throw on a helmet if it's really bad, but I'd probably forego armor for the sake of bringing more stuff. That way, when I do make it out, I'm better off and making it. Because if I'm in a suburban or rural area, then my risk of encountering, enemy combatants goes down quite a bit, and my need to cover long distances goes up. So I would say the only way I'm gonna be like, I'm absolutely throwing on body armor is if I'm in a high risk, already high crime area in which I need to move a short distance to in contact with hostile forces, we'll call it, right, is basically imminent. If I know I need to get out of the ghetto and I'm gonna get in a shootout almost guaranteeably, and I need to make it out alive, all right, man, we're throwing on that kit. But if it's not that scenario, I'm carrying extra gear, I'm carrying extra ammo. That way, when I make it out, I'm better off, and I'm not gonna heat cat or anything on my way out there.
Right. And well, if you're watching this, and I'm just turning them down a little bit because your mic got a little loud there. But if you're watching this and you're in an urban setting, I would honestly say body armor is mandated, because you're not only are you gonna, it's not if you're gonna get shot, it's when. If you're in an urban environment, if right now, and I think this is a whole nother stream, probably topic to kind of open up a can of worms, but I don't think people realize that we're living in an anomaly. Modern society is not the norm. The modern United States is not the norm. What is us being able to go out and live the lifestyle that we live, stream and have air conditioning and have, internet and everything. This is not the norm. And we're 3 to 4 days at any given time of 3 to 4 days worth of missed meals from absolute without rule of law in any country, especially the United States. So if you're living in any sort of urban environment from right now, if right now the grid went down, by the way, I need to do a state of the world on it, but there is a bunch of power solar flares right now causing massive power outages around the world. So I'll have to do a state of the world on that at some point in the next day or two.
Okay, gotcha.
But we are literally 4 days away, 3 or 4 days away of people being hungry without rule of law. So if you are in an urban environment, you need to have plates on, because it's not if you're going to get shot, it's when and how many times, right? But keep in mind, as things progress, if you're running uh, a standalone plate carrier, and you need to downgrade, you might you might be regretful, I guess, of that decision. Because if you're running, you know, I mean, you get what I'm saying, right? If you're freaking running just a plate carrier and now you need to downgrade to a chest rig and you don't have a chest rig and you just had this 3 mag placard that's set up for CQB, like, you're going to be hating your life because, like, how are you going to carry your water unless it's a clip-in system? You know what I'm saying? So for me,
Yeah, and that.
go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Finish the
Oh,
thought.
for me,
You're good, King.
it is definitely like, unless I'm local, can have a some sort of fob cop, kind of scenario. It's definitely going to be a chest rig for me.
Yeah, and that touches a bit on like scalability in kit, which is something I plan on making a video on here probably after the my go-to rifle setup. But that gets into a bit of scalability, which is true and is something to consider with body armor, and that's where like the whole I'm gonna have my kit and live in it mindset really fell apart for me because I used to be of that mindset, and then I realized living in my kit, I'm like, I can't scale this at all. I'm either full jocked up body armor, plates, and all my kit, or nothing. And I'm
Right.
like, and that's a tough situation to be in. For one, it's hard to train like that all the time. You could say, get fit, suck it up, but at the same time, just being realistic with yourself, doing that type of training is very hard on your body in ways that aren't just building muscle. And it's just not fun. It's like saying I'm going to carry a full size pistol. I mean, a whole different conversation. We'll touch on it briefly, but like, be realistic with yourself. Are you actually going to carry that full size pistol every day? I'm not saying you carry a tiny one, but like, be realistic with yourself. Are you going to go out there and train and go hiking and do all this stuff in full body armor with 25 pounds of kit on you without factoring in any additional supplies? I don't think that's very realistic for most people. So being able to, yeah, like you said, scale your kit. All right, I'm in this shit. I need all my stuff. All right, I'm out of the shit, but I still need to sustain myself. Let's downgrade a bit. Or, hey, things are a little scary right now, but I don't need to go scaring the hose with a rifle and full kit. Maybe I just wear my body armor and a battle belt, and with a pistol, just because I want to figure out what's going on in the neighborhood, stuff like that. Scalability is very important, and locking yourself into a body armor with your shit mollied directly to it puts you in a very all or nothing state of preparedness.
Let's kind of pivot here a little bit because I want to talk about soft armor. Um,
Let's do it.
so
Let's do it.
for me, I may be a FUD on this, but I think soft armor is a total gimmick in 2025. I think the vast majority of dudes you're going to encounter, everyone's going to have a 9. Everyone has a 9mm on them, probably watching this video. Within arm distance, I can't grab mine. I have a Beretta M9A4 right here. I can't touch it because I would get nuked off the planet, and you would see the atomic bomb hit in the background, and you would see Nighthawk over there explode, and yeah. But everyone has a 9. But the vast majority of your engagements that are going to happen in a WROL are going to be M8, M855 or M193, like 55 grain,
Yeah.
556 or whatever, right? So I think the level 3A conversation is dead. And I see all these channels. I try not to, but I see all these channels like, oh, you have this company and they have this new, level 3A, and it's super cheap and it's rated up to 44. It's like, dude, I get it. Maybe if you were some politician, 3A would be a good idea because you might get, smoked by some dude with a handgun. So maybe that's a good use case for it. But for dudes like you and me, I think 3A is just a gimmick, in my opinion, in 2025.
I will definitely say level 3A armor, I think, is starting to diminish in practicality. Now, again, it all depends on what LARP are you prepping for, right? Because if you're gonna say, I'm only, I only care about hunkering down at home for maybe 1 to 3 days top. I'm not leaving. I'm only worried about, hey, maybe some riots break out and some assholes might try to raid my apartment or raid my house, and I want protection from that. Yeah, okay, sure. You know, the 3A armor, right? Like, I could see the argument here of for that use case, sure, I get it. You could theory craft some realistic situations that are specific that 3A would make sense. Got it. However, comma, with the popularity of uh, AR pistols and Dracos and shit like that in the hands of thickhead people, and the fact that the AR platform as a whole is just more popular, that 3A armor isn't going to help you. Even if, you know, let's say, even in that scenario where you're like, well, I don't want them looters coming to my house, you know, and I need protection from it, so I'm going to grab my Maverick 88 and throw on my level 3A vest. Okay, definitely not the worst situation to be in and not the worst mindset. However, let's say you got four assholes that are armed. It only takes one of those dudes to have a 7.5 AR or a fucking Draco, and your armor is now borderline useless. And I think that just adds to the, if you want to get into a genuine preparedness mindset, that level 3A is going out. Now, would I rather have it over nothing? Absolutely. However, like I said, the likelihood of you encountering a dude, even with a shitty SBR or pistol braced AR, the likelihood is only going up. And that makes your level 3A less and less practical.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I said, level 4, if I'm wearing it, it's going to be level 4, right? And I know guys are going to be like, well, what about level 3A to supplement under your level 4 for frag? Okay, you know, now we're talking about what threat you're facing. It doesn't make sense to go ahead and throw on a 3A lightweight vest under your level 4, but now, okay, you got to move. Let's say you got to move 6 clicks. Now you're wearing 3A
Mm-hmm.
for your 48-hour assault pack, your ACH, your
Sustainment
helmet.
gear, yeah.
Now you got your extra 2 magazines because you're expecting a large fight. I mean, if you take a frag grenade, you might be happy you had that 3A, but I don't know, man.
Yeah, that 3A behind a plate. It's something that that Uncle Sam does. The Army does it. It's not quite 3A. It's like a 9 mil Kevlar backer, and it
Right.
is for flak, and it is for armor penetrating ammo to be broken up by the plate and then get caught by that back Kevlar layer. So again, what LARP are you preparing for? If you are going to be the guy who's like, I want to prep for fucking war in which the Russians are coming over and they're shooting at me with dishkas and shit. They're like, all right, man, if that's what you're saying, then having that Kevlar backer behind your plate makes sense because you might realistically encounter armor piercing ammunition. Yes. Um, and I'm going to say be as prepared as you can be and you want to be because it's your right. You know, I would be over prepared rather than under prepared. However, comma, that Kevlar behind plates is really heavy and really only serves the purpose of flak protection and protection against armor piercing, intermediate or like full rifle power rounds like 308, 7.62 by 51, 7.62 by 39, and like 50 cal from extended distances.
Yeah. So, I guess just to summarize our points is you guys need to understand your mission. You need to understand your area of operation. Like, what are you getting into? If it's for without rule of law, it can't does your mission set, and you determine your mission set. And this is literally your survival. So if you
Mm-hmm.
are watching this and you're like, well, I've decided I'm going to bring it because it's my mission set and I live in Chicago and I'm going to get shot like 15 times walking out my front door, then yeah, you might want body armor, right? But if you're in, I don't know, you're in Montana and your nearest neighbor is 2 miles away, well, you decide. You decide if are they, what is your mission set? What is the local population look like? Is it friendly? Is it foe? And you are going to have to make the decision. I just get frustrated when I go to my comments of any video and it's anything discussing, and I have a 10-minute video I'll drop probably tonight on this exact
Mhm.
topic of everything we're talking about today. But basically, the guys in the comments are like, "You're an idiot if you don't wear body armor," and I wouldn't be caught dead. And it's like, I don't think you're being reasonable and rational and looking at the entire picture when it comes to that topic.
Yeah, 100%. And again, to me, I always come from a very utilitarian and a very how do I stretch my money and get the most out of being prepared and buying gear, because everybody loves to buy gear, right? It's fun, and it's expensive. And to me, I want to maximize how how much I can do and how prepared I can be with as minimal amount of money as possible without like going Chinesium. And I see a lot of guys who are of a similar mindset because they're not made of money and they want to be able to do the most they can, and they get this misconception about body armor being that be all end all when it's not. It is a very niche tool that is very important to have and very useful, but is very niche and is very specific to certain scenarios, and that there's a lot of training and knowledge to be done outside of body armor and outside of that mindset that people I think too often overlook, or like you said, they see you rocking, you're LARPing on the flat range and you've got, maybe a duty belt and a chest rig, and they're saying, you're killed in the streets, you're gonna die, no ballistic protection, you're dead, and they don't understand that it's not the be all end all. It is simply a tool or a, hate to say it, force multiplier.
Oh, there it is.
Ooh.
Matt TC, knowledge
All the
transfer.
buzzwords, all the buzzwords.
All right,
We'll
we
just
got
wait until we bust out modular.
it's modularity. It's the knowledge transfer. What did he say? That
But we
dude,
have scalability.
scalability. At scale. He said.
Yeah.
He's like, that's just a bad install. It's like, oh, dude, the brovet scene is not good. Not a good look. Wouldn't want to be there. Anyway, so yeah, so I think that kind of answers the question, right? Of where most people's heads are at right now is like, yes, we say own it, have it, hope to never need it, right? Understand that
Mhm.
the level of protection is very minimal for just a front plate and a back plate. Um, definitely have it on hand. You're probably going to need it for things like, let's be real, the vast majority of guys watching this are going to need it for something like neighborhood protection. They're
Mhm.
gonna, they're gonna, their WROL is gonna be a WROL light for most of us. You're gonna see, hey, the grid goes down. There's, mayhem in the larger cities. But if you live like where I live in the South, hey, I'm telling you right now, yeah, there's going to be, the raiders and the roaming gangs of bad guys, but there's also going to be a lot of good Minutemen doing neighborhood patrols, entry and exit points for the neighborhood, and there's going to be a lot of
Mhm.
dudes wearing high cuts and front and back plates, you know what I mean? In,
Yeah.
in, in the area that I live, that, a lot of guys in chat are going to be rocking plates because they're only going to be moving a mile or two a day, just on patrol. And yeah, they're going to be well armored and hopefully well trained and well disciplined. But the second it gets worse than that, the second it devolves into just absolute The Last of Us
Like force
level,
on force, like fighting,
yes,
that type of
people,
deal. As in like organized like fights between two opposing forces.
yes, the second it gets more, I would say, chaotic than what I just described, as you still have the ability to conduct a neighborhood patrolling system and a WROL light, where you still have the ability to have those platoon-size elements kind of protect the neighborhood, protect the women and children type of deal. But if it gets crazier than that, because all it takes is one night, to be honest. One night, someone falls asleep, people come in, and guess what? Burn down a couple houses, and guess what? Things just devolve from there. So, but yeah, I think we kind of agree on this one about most things, other than level 3A. You kind of think that there's more use than I do, and that's okay. obviously I've been forced to wear it a ton, but I just think it's
Mhm.
kind of silly. I mean, if someone walked in the room right now and mag dumped me with their PSA dagger, it'd be nice to have, but you know, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think we agree on pretty much all of it, you know. And we made some good content. We made some good points about being realistic with yourself, understanding the potential missions you might encounter, and also getting wrapped up in. And this kind of is like an army thing. We're gonna tie it into
The
the
Met
civilian practical mindset.
TC, the
Yeah, but bringing it back to MTC, baby.
all right,
But
force multiplier, DJ Shipley is back.
we're back, Chad. I think a lot of guys they have misconceptions and then they prep for the worst case scenario, and that is like being as armored and as ready to fight as possible, and combining that with some misconceptions, combining it with prepping case scenario or most deadly plan of attack for the enemy to possibly do. They lose sight of what realistically will most likely occur far before those other things happen. And Trench, I'm sure you know the planning for most deadly versus most likely. Yes, you want to be able to flex into most deadly if that ever happens, but the most likely is what you need to plan for because that's most likely what's going to happen. And I think that just being, arm yourself with knowledge, remain flexible, and level 3A armor is vastly becoming obsolete in that sort of mindset. Would I rather have it than nothing in some scenarios? Yes. And I get most people in this chat aren't, it's not going to be applicable to you. But if you're some FUD that has in his mind that all he needs is 3A because he's prepping for, assholes to potentially raid his house with pistols, okay, sure, man, live your dream. But I think that window of practicality is becoming smaller and smaller.
Bro, that guy is not in a trench grenade. I don't think that guy.
Yeah,
I think we've expelled
those
all
people
those.
aren't in this chat most likely.
My audience are a bunch of autists that carry. I'll tell you what my audience is. They either have a shotgun, a Beretta 1301, or a 20-inch carry handle AR with a Beretta M9A4 or a Glock 19X or Glock 19. A lot of these guys probably have some sort of minimalist plate carrier with a 3-mag placard and a quality chest rig. If I had to venture to say for my audience, and I'm sure chat will either say that's me or they'll say that's not me, but a lot of my guys kind of get it, right? I kind of.
I mean, I've been in the channel, I've been in the Discord for a while. I know the homies. I've seen how many dudes are very ready to fix their bayonets on their 20-inch muskets, and I'm here for it, Kings. Hell yeah.
The bayonet charge of the 20-inch barreled rifles would be epic. But yeah, so what chat? Any questions? I guess we'll open it up to chat for some Q&A questions about this real quick.
Yeah, sure. I
see.
get like 15 minutes till I make it home, so
Okay.
I got a little more time.
Chat, open up your, or I guess chat, post what questions you have. Let's see. About the topic.
While you're gathering them up, we still got to do the Roast My Rifle stream at some point.
Oh, I'm not going to lie to you. I totally forgot about that till you mentioned it right now. Yes, so I'll, as chat posts their questions and everything, I'll just shill for myself real quick. So we have a Discord. What would you rate the Discord out of 10? Bones, you've been in there for a while. A Discord dweller.
9 3-thumbed monkey autists out of 1 PSA dagger.
That's pretty good, actually. PSA dagger is just as good as a Glock, so that's pretty much the best thing
Just
you could
as
have
good,
given
brother. The server's pretty good. I like it though. There's a lot of people have good conversations about this type of stuff. People get into gun autism. They talk about their kits. It's a good place. I enjoy it there.
Yeah. So if you want to get in the Discord, guys, join the Patreon. I'll send you it's only $5, and I don't see all the $5. I think Patreon takes like half of that or more, but it's $5 a month. Yeah, and it gets you guys access to the closed Discord server where we play Tarkov and play video games, stay up late, argue with people that are clearly racist and saying all the most edgy based memes. But yeah, it's a pretty good it's a good group in there. But let's see, let's read some chat here. Caleb.
The Discord on my channel is free, and it's in my channel description, guys. Trench doesn't want you to know this.
Oh yeah, make sure you guys support Bones. Okay. Also, like the video. Let's see. Iron Sight Ruger 556 with a button. Why am I reading it over there? I have my phone right here. Let's read.
Ruger 556 based. Sorry,
Ruger,
continue.
Ruger 556. I have a Ruger 556 pistol. It's a 10.3.
Oh, okay.
It's like a
Nice.
cheapest Mark 18 you could possibly imagine with an M-lock
Yeah.
rail. It's actually not bad. It's never had an issue. So actually, that's a lie. The pistol grip came off. It came loose right
well,
away.
I mean,
It literally took 15 seconds to fix. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
it was
The
just
pistol grip
funny.
on the stock Rugers suck anyway.
Yeah, it was just funny that of all the things that came loose, I was like, well, this is weird.
Yeah, awkward.
But yeah, I have 3 mags and a drop leg, 1 in a quick. Chat, you guys are being very quiet since we opened it up. You guys all stopped talking at the weirdest
They're
time.
all like, we're getting out of here. I got no fucking questions. Fuck you.
I'm done
I learned everything I
listening.
needed to.
I'm sick of the lives. Tell Bones to shut up. All right, well, I got nothing.
I have not seen chat at all, so
Oh,
I have not
it's-
seen anything.
They were having good conversations earlier, and now they're maybe my phone's not updating because I'm seeing on the stream some guys' stuff is coming through. But I guess we'll close it up here. I think this was good, concise conversation about chest rigs versus plate carriers. Maybe guys will be able to use it as a podcast format. Again, do all the stuff, guys. Like the video. Make sure you go support Bones' channel. He has his own stuff going on, right?
Owens Maloney on YouTube. We're making great content. Eventually, we've got some videos up. We're working on more. I'm living in a cuck state though, so it's really hard for me to shoot.
He's like, we're making content, but that content is just being the constant only guest on the Trench Grenade live. I mean, I never do freaking live. So the fact
Yeah,
that
and it's been fun. I think it's been a good thing. I've been enjoying it. I think we can refine and make it, actually sit down, have our cameras on at a computer and, focus trip it up and schedule it. It would be a good thing. It's good for interaction. I like it.
It seems like chat enjoys them. Yeah, I think that's a good point. It seems like the guys enjoy it. It's weird when you have no sponsors on a YouTube channel with a somewhat normal but autistic group of guys, Minutemen here. It's just normal, right? But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll close it out here, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Do all the YouTube stuff. Do all the things. Like the video. Comment down below. Go check out Bones and let us know in the real comments of the channel if you want to see more live content or if you just want me to